What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match preview for Barcelona versus Young Boys in the UEFA Champions League. UCL football is back for the final time before the international break coming up in October. And of course, Barcelona had an absolutely terrible start to their campaign, and now is up to the time to gain some ground. Probably our easiest game of the Champions League, so of course absolutely nothing but the win in this game. But before we get into it, of course, make sure you guys smash that like button down below, and let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. It would be very much appreciated. Also, if you are new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Kickoff time for this match will be taking place at 9 p.m. local time, so your regular kickoff time in the Champions League. And this match will be taking place in the Luis Campos Stadium in Montjuic, which of course is the temporary home for Barcelona. And the referee for this match has also been confirmed as well. On the pitch, it will be the Belgian referee Eric Lambrecht, who will be officiating his first UCL game involving Barcelona, and on the VAR it will be the Dutchman Rob Dippernick. Let's start off by taking a look at the Champions League table, where Barcelona currently sit in 22nd place in the Champions League. Of course, it is very early to tell. As of right now, we are currently in the round of 32 position, which of course is a position that we don't want to end up in once all 8 games are completed. The fact that we are there on 0 points just shows that we're there pretty much based on vibes, and goal difference is basically shared amongst many other teams as well. But I mean, again, still early to call. You can see the top of the table. You can see the few teams that have picked up 3 points in their game. Only 15 of them won out of the total, which again is a big sight. There's of course a lot of draws in there as well. Bayern Munich, after their thumping of Dinamo Zagreb 9-2, are still at the top of the table. Celtic are up there as well, alongside Leverkusen, Villa, Dortmund, Slavia Prague, Liverpool, and Juventus. We want to of course be in that top 8. I think Barcelona would pretty much have to win all their games. We can maybe we could suffer a draw, but it has to be majority wins going out from here on out to make it, of course, in that top 8. That way we don't have to play an extra 2 games later on in like February, congested of course in league fixtures as well. I guess if we are there, I mean, it's better than being eliminated, of course, but still you don't want to be there, end up playing other teams and have more difficult games to add to your schedules. As of right now, the best of start for Barcelona in terms of the UCL standing this new league format, but again, of course, still 7 more games to go. Let's now take a look at our opponents in Young Boys. In the entire almost 125-year history of Barcelona, we have never faced Young Boys in a competitive competition ever. This will be the first time, so we have no history to go off of for this game. Of course, Young Boys are in the Champions League based on the fact they were the champions of Switzerland last season, and currently in the Swiss League, they're sat in 11th place out of 12. They're currently in the relegation zone there. They've had an absolutely woeful start to their season. After 8 games so far in their league, they have 1 win, 3 draws, and 4 losses. Again, they are the champions of this league, and they are currently 11th out of 12, which shows how poor they have been so far this season. If you look at the last 5 matches in all competition, in the last match they did lose 1-0. They then had a 4-1 win. They lost their first game in the Champions League 3-0 to Aston Villa. They won a Swiss Cup game 4-2, and they had yet another draw in the league. Let's take a quick look at their games. Again, there's no Young Boys players that really stand out from based on the history of football that I know, which shows how inexperienced they are. But they did of course lose their first Champions League game 3-0 to Aston Villa. Of course, in their stadium they have picked up some big UCL results over the past few years. This was going to be quite a banana skin game for Aston Villa potentially, but Villa started off the game very well. They got I think 1 goal and then like 3 goals that were ruled out for offsides and fouls and all that stuff. Second half they're a bit more clinical. Amadou Onana with a fantastic long range goal that was also chopped off due to a foul in the build up or something like that. But Young Boys didn't really do too well. They had, I think, 1 chance early on, just again with the atmosphere in the stadium, that kind of first 5-7 minute boost. I think they had an opportunity then, but apart from that, it's been a quite quiet performance from them and a typical and expected Villa win for them. Next up is their 4-1 win in the league. Of course, their first win in the season in the league It was a strong win away from home as well. You can see one of their players on the left-hand side there got a hat-trick, got a 10 out of 10 rating there. So maybe watch out for him in this game. Again, no player there really screams out to me that I've known or heard or know any of their quality as well. But finally, they have picked up their first win in the league after being league champions. It took them, 7 games to get there, which I would say is borderline embarrassing, but they got the win. I guess that is the most important thing. And finally, the last national competition was a 1-0 loss away from home in a league fixture. Again, poor result for them. I watched the highlights for this game. They had a few chances, couldn't really end up knocking down the dam. The other team got like a very, very lucky goal. Again, they're kind of a mid-table team in the Swiss League, so the Young Boys should be beating them, but it was a very, very tight game, more evenly contested than it should have been, but the Young Boys did walk away without any points. So overall, final thoughts on Young Boys. They're shite. I mean, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here and make them sound good or try, scare you guys a little bit. They're crap. I mean, the fact that they had a poor start to their season, along with the fact that they're not even that good, just shows the level. Their manager is Patrick Rahman. He used to coach Basel back in the days, so again, he has some of that, Swiss League experience. He, of course, won the league with Young Boys last season as well, so, and then again, you look at players to look out for. I mean, this might be the easiest win Barcelona ever have in their 125-year history, but it also could be the worst defeat or the worst draw in the club's 125-year history. Young Boys have a reputation of, having some ups in the Champions League, but they've always been at home. So if this is an away game, I'd be more worried, I'd be more hesitant, but their away form in the Champions League is beyond shite. I cannot say anything more than this is, in the European level, European scale, they're not a good team whatsoever. They're here on the fact that the Swiss League gets one spot in the Champions League. They won the Swiss League. That's why they're in there pretty much. So, I mean, I can't really add much more than that. So, Young Boys, not the best team in the world, and Barcelona should be handling them with ease. Now, ahead of this match against Young Boys, Barcelona will be receiving a huge medical boost, and that is the return of Frenkie de Jong. Again, it was all going to be anticipated to him for the return at some point this week, before Young Boys, after Young Boys, before Alaves, after Alaves, but now it's been confirmed by the whole media that he will be coming back for this game. He will get the medical clearance, and he will be included in the squad as well. Flick also hinted about it in his press conference, but of course we will cover very, very shortly. So de Jong coming back is fantastic. Barcelona, pretty much by the time we return from the international break, will have 5 new signings: Frenkie de Jong, Gavi, Dani Olmo, Fermin Lopez, and of course your new boy Wojciech Szczesny. He was spotted in Barcelona today, completing his medical and signing the contract. An announcement is expected today. He will be at the game tomorrow as well as, a guest of Barcelona. And then on Wednesday, we're expecting press conference, making it official, yada yada yada, all that media stuff. So Szczesny is coming in. He'll be integrated very soon. Again, he'll be fully fit, available after the international break. He's get back to match sharpness, match rhythm. We'll probably see some pictures of him and videos of him in training over the course of the week ahead of Alaves, but I doubt he'll be called up whatsoever. So again, 5 huge players returning to Barcelona by the time we come back for the international break. They're all going to feel like new signings because we've barely seen Fermin Lopez this season. We have not seen Frenkie. We have not seen Szczesny. We haven't seen Gavi. We saw Olmo for what, 3 games? 4 games? I think 3 games. Vallecano, Valladolid, Girona. So we've barely seen Olmo as well. So we're going to have a whole, fiasco of new players coming in, and just at the perfect time as big games and the big schedules are coming up. Let's now get into the press conference reaction of Marc Casado. As we all know, in the Champions League competition, a player always becomes a manager in the presser, and Casado was selected. Usually the player that does the presser will probably start the game as well, so I'll give you some hints in regards to the lineup. Let's get and see what Casado had to say this morning in the presser. He came out saying that tomorrow we have to put a good display in front of our home crowd. The team is excited and we will try everything to win. Flick gives all the players a lot of confidence. Going from the 3rd division to the UCL, there is a noticeable difference, but both in terms of physicality and quality of opponents. The veterans helped us youngsters a lot. Also, world-class players like Raphinha and Pedri. Will the defeat to Osasuna affect the team? No, we are excited for this match. We have the right mentality to overcome the defeat and to give our best. Frenkie's return will benefit the whole team. The more players available, the better he will help us. He also mentioned it was very good, as well for competition as well. Am I going through the best moment of my career right now? I think I'm doing well both on and off the field. The most important thing is to work very hard in training sessions and play hard in every single game. We have a very good team. We have very, strong ambitions to win games and win titles. The Barcelona badge deserves 100% effort at all times, and we are confident of doing well. Playing alongside, big players like Pedri and Raphinha makes this easier on the pitch. Hansi Flick has the whole squad plugged in, and we know what we have to do in order to achieve success. And that included Casado's press conference reaction ahead of the match against Young Boys tomorrow. Time now to get into the manager's press conference reaction in Hansi Flick, who of course followed Casado and spoke to the media as well ahead of this match. Let's get to see what the Gav had to say this morning in the presser. Starts off by saying that we have not forgotten about the Monaco game, but we now have to move past that. We are now without points against a good team and at home. We need fresh legs. Frenkie de Jong's return is great news, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes. It's a massive reason for joy for the whole team. If he gets a chance, he will play. He did mention that it doesn't depend on how the game is going. If we know we're destroying them, tight game, losing, God forbid, so that might have an effect. Also, I would say watch out for the fans' reaction in the stadium. See if they boo him or clap him, because of course he was booed a little bit and whistled when he came out for the Jong Gamper, but following his interview recently with Barcelona, maybe that might change some perspective a little bit, so keep your eyes on that. Back to Flick, he says that it's important to make as few mistakes as possible. We need to show our quality with the ball at our feet. When we have the ball, we know how to combine and what to do. Defense must be crucial. Responsibility must be assumed. Radical fans in the stadium, of course, what happened in the Madrid derby yesterday, he said that these people should be banned from the stadium. It's not part of football. Whatever, we will play with the team that we believe is the best to win or to beat Young Boys. The first game we lost, but we must not be depressed about it. I'm not worried about the Champions League record. Coaches want to be successful. I'm positive because the team works well and we play very attracting football. And finally, he was asked about the arrival this morning of Wojciech Szczesny, and he said, he was asked if Szczesny will become a starter. He said, look, I'm not going to talk about players right now who are not part of the squad, but I guess you guys kind of know pretty much that he's going to be signing at this point. But here at Barcelona, there's no guarantees whatsoever on who will be the starter, and that is the level of Barcelona. He's saying that, look, he's going to have to come in and earn a spot. There are no guarantees essentially whatsoever. And that included Hansi Flick's press conference reaction ahead of the match against Young Boys tomorrow. Let's now get into the lineup prediction. We're going to start with the manager, of course, Hansi Flick. I'm going to try my best to predict his lineup. I think it will be very easy to predict because, again, he will have to go full strength for this game after the huge rotation he did have over the past weekend against Osasuna. So I think that Flick will go with this lineup on the screen right now. I think they'll go with Iñaki Peña in goal, a back four of Kounde, Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez, and Alejandro Balde, midfield three of Casado, Pedri, and Pablo Torre, and a front three of Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, and Raphinha. Of course, there is one big question mark, and that is the suspension of Eric Garcia following his red card, of course, against Monaco. He's not available to play, so who will play in that other midfield spot, and what will Hansi Flick do? Of course, the first option, just to play Pablo Torre. He could, of course, move Raphinha in the middle, then play Ferran or Ansu out wide. There are options that he could do to combat that missing midfielder, but I think he will keep it simple. Of course, we tried the Pedri Pablo Torre connection in the game against Osasuna, did not look that great. Might as well give it a go again at home against a weaker side and see how well it connects. Of course, that back five, that front three, and that Casado Pedri double pivot is set in stone, but who will be playing in the 10 and who will be, positioned elsewhere will be the question mark. He could maybe just play Ferran in there as well, kind of as a second striker, maybe Ansu Fati doing the same thing as well. He could maybe play Kounde at center back, Hector Fort right back, Pedri in the 10, and have Cubarsí in the midfield, really try innovating things. That could be a possibility as well, so I could see one change from this lineup, but I don't think he'll make any other changes as well. Had a heavy rotation against Osasuna. The criticism that he received a lot about that rotation, costing us 3 points. We could be 6 points clear right now in the La Liga table, but we're not. So all these things are going to be coming into a factor. So I think that this will be the lineup that Hansi Flick will select for this match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think Flick will go with. Now I'm going to show you guys my lineup, what I would do if I was the Barcelona coach. I have made one change from Hansi Flick's lineup selection, and I've opted for a different option. Instead of Pablo Torre, I have put Raphinha in the 10. I've gone with Ansu Fati on the left. Simply and surely and purely, on vibes. I just want to see Ansu Fati. I mean, how long have we waited now? He's been, injured for about 2 months. We got like 7 minutes out of him against Monaco, and that's been it. This is the time. Weak team, at home, midweek. This is his moment to go out there and shine. That's what I would do. Again, the Pablo Torre Pedri connection against Osasuna didn't really wow me. Yes, you could try it again, which I think that flick will do, but personally, I would bin it. I would go with Ansu on the left, get Ferran Torres far away from this team as possible. I'd rather even have Pau Victor on the left, but I would move Raphinha into the 10 and put a forward out wide. Go really attacking. Let's get, a high scoring score line, put the pressure on Young Boys as well. You're at home, use the moment. So that's kind of the mindset I have for this lineup selection. So I've got this team on the screen, but of course in the comments down below, let me know if you'd rather pick mine lineup or Flick's lineup. Time now for my score prediction. What do I believe the result will be in this match? I think it'll be a very comfortable win for Barcelona. I've got Barcelona win this match by 3-1. Of course, we have Inaki Peña in goal. We might see Gerard Martin come on for about 5 minutes, so we're definitely going to concede. I think we will, of course, get a lot of goals going forward. Young Boys are not a clinical team, so if they do score, it'll be as embarrassing as drawing or losing the game. God forbid that happens. Look, I think Barcelona had this game in the bag. I mean, a draw could... I put like a draw, like a 1 or 2% happening. I doubt I don't have any vision or any fear that we will lose this game. But we have to go out there, make a statement, get our first win in the Champions League, and try our best to make it emphatic as well. So 3-1, nice comfortable win. It could be a 4-1, could be a 5-1. It's definitely going to have a 1 because, again, our defense has suspect in there beyond belief. I think it will come down to how critical we are on the night, how many goals we score going forward, but I'm very, very confident in Barcelona picking up 3 points in this game, and I have going Barcelona win this game by 3-1. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think the scoreline will be. So that was my match preview for Barcelona versus Young Boys in the Champions League. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed. But the main thing, obviously, of course, is your score prediction. And secondly, on those lineups. Firstly, would you pick my lineup or Flick's lineup? What do you think Flick will go with? What would you go if you're the manager? Let me know your thoughts down below. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the live watch along. Set the reminder on the screen and come and join me, watch the game with me. Follow after the match by my match reviews. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Nothing but the win. Take care and Forza Barca.
Yeah.